It looks like we're all set. So the format of this meeting consists of Planning Commission members, applicants, the public, and city staff attending a live online Zoom meeting, and the public viewing in the meeting on the city's YouTube channel. For those attending the Zoom meeting, please only speak when the chair indicates it's time for you to do so. In addition, as usual, please, prior to addressing commission, please state your name, address, and affirm that you'll tell the truth. Public viewers on YouTube have the ability to type in comments with a Google account. If you enter in a comment on YouTube, please first indicate your name and address. Comments can be entered at any time. We're relayed to the commission when the chair indicates it's time to do so. Please also note multiple comments can be entered, but each comment is limited to 200 characters. If you're having difficulties commenting, comments can be emailed to me at a.dutton@worcesteroh.com. Finally, please also be aware there's an approximate 15-second delay between the Zoom meeting and the live stream on YouTube. That's all I have for now, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Armbruster to begin the meeting.
Thank you, Andrew. This is the regular scheduled May 2021 meeting of the City of Worcester Planning Commission. This is a volunteer commission of Worcester citizens established to hear planning matters as specified in the City of Worcester's Planning and Zoning Guide, or Zoning Code rather. My name is Chuck Armbruster, and I'm the chair of the Planning Commission. Because these hearings are a matter of legal record, this meeting is recorded. We ask that if and when you speak loudly and clearly. We also ask that prior to speaking, each speaker gives their name and address and affirms to tell the truth. The applications to be considered tonight are applications PC 21-14, PC 21-15, PC 21-16, and finally PC 21-17. Following tonight's meeting, the applicant in each case will receive notification of the Commission's decision regarding their application. With that formality behind us, Grant, I only see 3 Commission members. Is that what you see at this point?
I think we have Grant, Mark, Kyle, Cherie, and you, Chuck, so we've got 5 total.
Oh, okay. I didn't see everyone. Okay. So with that, we'll go ahead and go down the agenda. First item is the roll call. So Kyle Adams, please.
I'm here.
Okay. Cherie Bronson.
Here.
Grant Mason.
Here.
I believe Mike Steiner is absent this evening. So go down to Mark Weaver.
Here.
And of course, myself. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the approval of the April 1st, 2021 meeting minutes. I will mention that we are amending the minutes that were sent out to show that Grant seconded Mike's motion on application PC 21-13. Are there any other errors or omissions that we should correct, please? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve. That's Mark.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, that's Grant. Any discussion, please? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Okay, the first application for this evening is PC 21-14. Forrest Lang requesting conditional use approval for an indoor recreation facility at 4146 Burbank Road, Unit C, in a C3 general commercial zoning district. Okay, Andrew, any comments you'd like to make before we begin, please?
I don't have any comments, and as this will have a public hearing, I have not received any comments from the public on this application.
All right, very good, thank you. Is the applicant representative present to outline the application, please? So Forrest, I think I saw you join earlier, so you're still there, I assume?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, you cut out right there at the end as I was trying to hear what you were saying. I apologize.
Okay, no problem at all.
Hey,
would you like
Chuck,
to overview anything in the application for us, please?
Chuck, for the record, please make a note that I'm abstaining from this vote due to my representation of Mr. Lang.
So noted. Thank you. Forrest, you have the floor.
So basically, looking at the floor plan here, the recreational use of this site will be used for an axe throwing facility. These are becoming increasingly popular, and I think it would be a great fit for the Worcester area. The floor plan here shows that I would have 6 lanes where people would throw, and then some tables and chairs as well for them to bring in their own food in order to enjoy that while they're throwing axes. There's also a bathroom, storage, and office, which are already built into the facility. And I'm not doing anything to structurally change the space at all. I'm simply adding to it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions that the commission may have, please?
This is Mark. I have a question. In your application, you say that no alcohol will be allowed in the venue. Do you anticipate any circumstances under which you'd change that policy or under which you would apply for a license in order to serve alcohol?
Upon reviewing with my insurance company for this first year, at least, I do not plan on changing that. I plan on reviewing that again at the end of the first year here, as it's a 3-year lease. Most of the other venues that I have been to do serve alcohol in some capacity. One over in Mansfield has a BYOB policy, and everything I've looked into with that, I do not really expect to start offering that at any point during my time renting this space, simply because of the size of the space and the seriousness of what's going on with throwing the axes. I think it would be best to not include that in this size of space. If I was able to get a bigger facility in the future, I would definitely look into including that.
Mark, anything else at this time?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. Andrew, I have a couple of questions for you relative to the city. And again, I think this is appropriate, so let me ask it. Has anybody from either the engineering department or the building standards department reviewed this application, the concept at all, or not, not at this point?
It would not be reviewed by the engineering division. I would think contingent on this approval, there will likely be an application to the building department, either for a building permit or at the very least a certificate of occupancy. So they'll review it for building code and safety concerns.
Okay, all right, very good. So Forrest, let me go back to you if I could, please, just a handful of questions. So in your application, you mentioned you participated in several of these. So have you participated in, I mean, as a user, or have you worked in such a establishment before? What's your background relative to axe throwing?
So I've been a patron at several different venues around the Columbus area. Each one slightly different, but all generally the same in concept, with the different throwing lanes, and then also a table or space for personal belongings with each lane. Okay.
And the next series of questions, I don't want to overthink this, but just want to get a good firm idea of what we're doing here. So relative to the wall that you're going to have the bullseyes or the targets on, how do you protect that wall? I mean, how do you keep it in good shape from an owner perspective, or the tenants next door and so forth? How do they do that?
For sure. So there's going to be paneling along the wall as a protective layer, and also more of a design backsplash. So those are going to be 1x6s, so 3/4 inch boards along that. And then on top of that, there's going to be the actual targets themselves. So that's going to begin with a sheet of plywood. So again, that 3/4 inch thickness coming off of those boards. And then on top of that, there are 2x10s, which are screwed into that. And then the actual target itself, the boards that the axes will be hitting, are another layer of 2x10s in front of that, and those would be changed out as they wear down from repeated axe hits. So there's a significant amount of padding and a buffer between the actual wall of the space and where the axe will be hitting.
So when you say buffer, again, give me a better idea of what that means. I mean, I feel sorry for the folks on the other side of the wall, I think, but tell me how the noise will be buffered or deadened, please.
So the noise itself will be deadened with the plywood and the spacing between that and the wall with those boards. And then all the impacts are also going to be mitigated, as the boards, the surface area of those will spread out the impacts as the axe hits a very small portion of each board. That impact is spread out over that entire board, onto the board behind it, and then onto the sheet of plywood, and then eventually onto the boards that are attached to the wall. So all in all, by the time that impact reaches from the front board all the way back to the actual wall, it's spread out significantly and would be reduced in force.
Okay. So again, obviously, how we vote on this thing tonight, I want to make sure that, again, that the noise level is reasonable. And frankly, I don't know a decimal number to put around that to make that. But again, if you're going in with the good spirit of being a good neighbor and so forth and managing the noise, then that's I'm supportive of that perspective.
For sure. I've already actually talked to the hair salon that is next door, and they expressed concerns this week as the wall that I'll be throwing against. They do have mirrors on the other side, and I've already talked to them through my plan. If any issues arise, that we can add things like a rubber pad behind the targets in order to further minimize any impact if there are such issues that arise. So I have had that conversation with them, and they are on board with the plan.
Sounds great, Forrest. Thank you.
Of course.
Commission members, any other questions for Forrest or anyone else, please? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and open the public forum, or the public hearing rather. So any general comments, please? And Andrew, have you received any notices, please?
I have not, and I'm not seeing anything online from YouTube yet, but we'll give it a minute or two there.
Yep, I agree. We'll just hold tight. Okay, last call for any participation in the public hearing, please. Andrew, nothing on your end, correct?
No, I haven't gotten anything.
Okay, by default, then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Again, Andrew, any other questions or comments you have before we move with business, please?
I have nothing else.
Okay, and also last call for commission members. Any questions or comments from you, please?
At this point, I think I would just state that I'm voting today on the basis that I understand that no alcohol will be allowed in this venue. I would have more questions and concerns if that were included, because I've seen several videos online of alcohol combined with axe throwing, and it looks fairly dangerous.
Okay, so noted. May I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve PC 2114, a conditional use application for an indoor recreation facility at 4146 Burbank Road, Unit C, in a C3 general commercial zoning district as presented to us.
Great, thank you, Mark. Do I have a second, please?
Second, Chuck.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Any further discussion? If not, we'll go down the list. Kyle,
Yes.
Sheree,
Yes.
Grant has abstained, Mike is absent, Mark,
Yes.
and I also agree. So motion passes. Thanks, Forrest.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Our next application is PC 2115, Beth Dormany, requesting final development plan approval for the addition of 4160 Burbank Road in a C3 general commercial zoning district. Andrew, any comments on this application, please?
No, I've nothing further than what's provided in the staff report.
Okay. Do we have an applicant representative to outline the application for us, please?
Yes, this is Aaron Blue with Onyx Creative. We're the architect of record for the project.
Okay. Can we have an address and will you swear to tell the truth, please?
It is 25001 Emory Road, and that's Cleveland, Ohio, 44128. And yes, I swear to tell the truth.
Okay, great. Can you just outline, again, we have the written application, but is there anything else you'd like to add, please?
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty squared away. For this application, we're trying to do a new greenhouse addition adjacent to the existing Tractor Supply retail store. All the work is proposed to be contained within their existing fenced outdoor enclosure area that they have. This project for Tractor Supply is actually a little bit unique compared to some of the other ones that we're doing across the country, as in this one has a breezeway that's in front of it that kind of keeps it somewhat concealed. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'm here to help.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. So with that intro, PC members, any questions that you have for Aaron, please? Well, I don't have any questions either, so could we have a motion then, please?
Chuck, I'll make a motion to approve PC-21-15, a final development plan approval for addition to 4166 Burbank Road in a C3 general commercial zoning district as presented.
Okay, thank you.
Second that.
And that's Mark, correct? Very good. Further discussion, please. Okay, hearing none, we'll go down the roll call. Kyle,
Yes.
Sheree,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and I also agree. So motion passes. Aaron, that was almost too easy.
I like it. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Marching right along, the next application is PC 2116. It reads, Nick Brenninger requesting final development approval for the retail building, accessory building, and outdoor storage for the property on the east side of Burbank Road with parcel number 67-02990.000 in a C3 general commercial district. Andrew, anything new on this application before we begin?
Yeah, the only thing I would note is noted in the application of the staff report is they're asking for approval for 2 years rather than the typical 1 year for them to obtain a zoning certificate. So that's noted in one of your conditions of approval, and that is within the authority of the commission to extend your approval however you see fit.
Okay, thank you. Nick, are you here to overview the application? Okay, Andrew, do you see Tom's note there? Tom O'Neill's in Menards. He's at telephone number 718 or 715-876-2224. Can you please unmute me, he says.
Hmm. Hey, we've got enough.
Thank you. This is Tom O'Neill with Menards.
Hi, Tom.
Good evening.
So I assume
Again, this is.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. This is Tom O'Neill with Menards. For the record, the address is 5101 Menard Drive, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, 54703. And I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Sounds good.
I am filling in this evening for the Menards project manager on this, Nick Brenner, who had a conflict with several other virtual meetings he needed to attend. I'm filling in for him on this particular project because I have a long history with in being on the acquisition side of things for Menards in Ohio, and I've spent a lot of time in Worcester over the years. And I was involved at the infancy of this project with John Schwartz and his team at Redstone. We've been working on the project and on a deal here for literally several years, and these projects sometimes take years to come together. And I think we're all very satisfied that even surviving a pandemic, that the project is moving forward. Menards is requesting final development plan approval for our store in the city of Worcester. The layout is such that we've faced the store to the southwest, and that was always going to be the case. I think one of the things from a site planning perspective that we've also always had some challenges with is those power lines and the power line easement. And they've had a pervasive impact on how the plan has had to lay out and impacts on site planning and layout and where things end up. The lumberyard and the warehousing, as a result, has had to be located to the north in order to meet our operational and merchandising needs. There's just no place to go further behind the store to site that. And because of the amount of grade change over a site of this size, that too has had quite an impact on the overall project from a site planning perspective in order to make up those grades, to balance the property in order to have certain tiers of development throughout from the higher ground to the north and west down to the south and east with the Meyer component of the project. We're happy how it has turned out. We're happy with the idea of, once again, co-tenancy with Meyer. We have a strong affinity for them, both being Midwestern-based private companies that are always sort of, I think we have some camaraderie with them due to, at least from our perspective, there's other publicly traded competitors out there, and again, we have some affinity with Meyer from that perspective. And with the project coming together with the site plans as they've been submitted, we would respectfully request final development plan approval for Menards in Worcester.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Planning Commission members, any questions for Tom, please? Okay, Tom, this is Chuck. I've got a few questions. Some are related to you and some aren't, but let's start with one for you anyway. On the cover page of the application, it says that you're going with the current prototype, and that kind of sparked my interest. So what does that word mean relative to this application and this project, please?
I think it means several different things. One, from a Menards perspective, we don't build different size stores for different markets. We want our guests to have a very consistent shopping experience as far as when they walk into a store in one location versus another, and being comfortable with the layout and where the products are and the different departments within the store are located. So you're not going to see different size prototypes at our Massillon store versus a store here in Worcester, except as those stores have evolved and changed a little bit over time. We're constantly reinventing and reinvesting in our stores, making sure that a store like Massillon, that has been there for over a decade now, as things change in the company, as we've incorporated new things into it, that we continue to upgrade it so it replicates a new store in every respect. So from a prototype perspective, I believe that is one way in which we mean that. Also from a construction standpoint, what we're proposing is to utilize our tan split face block on the construction of the store. And that is a product that we self-manufacture, made in the USA, will be coming from our facilities in the state of Ohio, made with Ohio labor and incorporated into the store. And that's the building material type that we use on all of our stores.
Okay, thank you. Switching gears to another question regarding fencing and buffering. So again, a lot of attention obviously goes towards the Burbank Road and the parking lot and the customer facing and so forth. My question is more around to the north end and also the east end of the property, where, like you say, you have some challenges with overhead lines and detention ponds and those type of things. And I think I understand that you're developing your store proper, but the developer has responsibility for the detention pond and, again, some of those areas farther north or northeast. So relative to fencing and buffering for Menards, help me understand what that looks like, because I don't think there was a landscape plan that was included in our packet.
The plan sheet that is on the screen now, what is entitled in the very lower right corner, CT1, does include the landscaping that is proposed, and it corresponds to the overall landscape legend that's in the upper right corner. So we have tried to incorporate the landscaping where we believe the view quarters are where most eyeballs are going to be on it. Again, there are some challenges even along Burbank Road due to the amount of grade change as the roadway continues to incline to the north, and we're trying to inset the site plan into the bottom of the hill as the grade change, and there'll be a significant gradient coming down towards the Menards fence line and lumberyard area. In that area, you can see the trees that have been spaced in there, and we tried to offset them and not have like a linear row of trees, but sort of a double staggered row of trees to provide some buffering in that area, as well as you continue to the south. To the east, there are challenges there where our fence line is going essentially, I guess I'd almost refer to it as a zero lot line right on the easement line. And with the easement immediately beyond, there is, the power company is not going to allow landscaping there. And I think from beyond that point, we're several football fields away from, or at least a football field or two away from the neighboring property owners. And I think there's less need or importance for landscaping that direction as opposed to Burbank Road.
Okay, so bottom line is what was presented, Andrew, is you're fine with the landscaping to the north and the east of the property, to the adjoining property, correct?
Yes, and also it may not show up on the plan as well, but there's fencing out around this entire outdoor storage area. So I believe that's 14-foot fencing. So
yes, that's correct, Andrew.
So that'll provide a significant amount of screening, and they actually need a variance to have it that high. So that is in addition to the landscaping.
So good point, Andrew. You have a chain link fence at the northeast corner or property line for Menards. And then is there similar protection around the basins as well, or is that not required?
That is not required, and I believe the fencing is a solid wood fence, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It's treated 2x8s that are placed vertically in order to have an opaque appearance and not allow people to have to look inside the lumberyard, and to keep light and sound also within the lumberyard.
Okay, good. Another question, and again, let's start with you, Andrew, and again, it goes where it goes. Relative to sidewalks, so again, we have the one of the plans that shows the sidewalks, and again, I get it as far as traversing within the shopping center itself. It looks like the sidewalk enters the property along Smithville Western Road. So my question to you is, Andrew, if we're in the shopping center and we're walking towards town, can you give us an idea of where that sidewalk leads, or where it will lead?
So at this time around the site, there are no sidewalks in any direction. That was part of discussion with the developer and our engineering division, is the installation of sidewalks all the way around this site when there are no sidewalks.
Right.
We felt that there is some opportunity to the east for future development, and as well to the south if Burbank Road ever got widened there or further improved for sidewalks to go in. We did not feel there was a lot of opportunity for development to the north in the near future. So we felt this plan where the ready showing the sidewalk on the site was appropriate.
Okay. So again, it helped me further understand. So again, I understand what sidewalks are. Relative to bike paths that seem to have favor in the city the last several years, is the intention to have the sidewalk act as the bike path too, or do you see two parallel streams leading up to this shopping center in the future, or what's the game plan that way?
At this time, there isn't a bike path planned in this area on Burbank Road. It would come up Friendsville Road and possibly turn east.
Okay.
So at this time, it's not on the current bike path plan. So it would not be required to be put in for this development or to the east.
Right. Okay. Andrew, let's stick with you. One other question, and that is also in the application, it mentioned about some traffic things, the traffic circle and some widening of the roads and so forth. I'm curious on what widening means and where that means. So is that only on Burbank north of Smithville Western towards the proposed traffic circle, or does that also include widening Burbank Road from Smithville Western south to Riffle, so it's a 4-lane all the way up?
And I don't think these plans don't show it as well as the one for Meyer. So, well, just first off, the plans are not complete yet. We're still working with the city engineer to finalize those plans. But basically, as far as the Menard site goes, there will be an increased roundabout there just north of the existing roundabout. It would be 2 lanes for the most part in between, with the right turn lane in and out to the south of this site, adjacent to the possible fuel station. And then at Menard's access point north of these 2 roundabouts, we're showing a left-hand turn lane and then a right-hand turn lane at that access point. So anything outside of that scope would be tapered down to the 2 lanes.
Okay, so what I hear you say is the developer would be responsible for the improvements on Burbank immediately west of the shopping center, but not south of Smithville Western, at least at this point, correct?
Yeah, they'd be responsible for the improvements adjacent to the site, basically, and not outside the site's limits.
Right, okay, very good. That's all I had. Again, going back to the PC members, any other questions that you may have, please?
Yeah, Chuck, I have one. Tom, what's your thinking behind asking for the 2-year approval from the get-go?
I think that is a product of the times in which we live right now. I think last year we got under construction with one store and had plans for 11 others. One store got commenced in February, pre-COVID, and once COVID made its appearance, nobody could travel anymore, and we just shut down our new store construction for the remainder of the year. As of right now, we are still not, with different rules in place in different states, we are still not building any new stores at this particular moment. And so we felt with the uncertainties, we owed it to ourselves to build in a little buffer into the timelines.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I just have one other question. So at full employment for a store this size, how many employees do you know, or approximate number?
Sure, I would say it would be somewhere between 130 to 150, with there being somewhere in about a 45% full-time versus 55% part-time, or thereabouts, split between that number.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Other questions or comments, please?
I have a question for Andrew. This is Mark again. Andrew, you've recommended that we approve with some conditions, or that the applicant must go ahead and get several different variances. If we assume all those variances are granted, is your judgment that this project is compatible with the comprehensive plan and harmonious with what you see as a good development in the North End?
Yes, based on the application and the criteria we have to review before, including the how it works with the comprehensive plan and fits in the comprehensive plan. Planning staff recommends approval with conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Last call for any questions or comments, please. Okay, Andrew, anything else from your end?
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay, in that case, may I have a motion, please?
I'll try. I move that we approve PC 21-16, requesting a final development plan application for a retail building, accessory building, and outdoor storage for property on the east side of Burbank Road with parcel number 67-02990, period 000, in a C3 general commercial district with the following conditions. First, that the project shall comply with planning and zoning code requirements for accessory building location, fencing color and height, outdoor storage area size, light fixture orientation, architectural standards, interior parking lot landscaping, minimum off-street parking, and parking setbacks, or a variance shall be approved from the Board of Building and Zoning Appeals. The applicant shall receive approval of a zoning certificate within 2 years of the approval of this final development plan. Third, landscaping use for parking lot screening shall incorporate year-round screening. Fourth, lighting on the site shall be generally uniform and shall not incorporate high lighting levels.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second, please?
I'll second that, Chuck.
Okay, Grant, thank you. Further discussion? Again, it was noted that this is a 2-year application, so we'll include that as well. Anything else? Okay, for the vote, Kyle,
Yes.
Cherie,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and I agree also. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Our final application this evening is PC 21-17. Robert Papoto requests final development plan approval for the retail building and an automotive fuel sales station for property on the north side of West Smithville Western Road and east side of Burbank Road with parcel number 67-02990.000 in a C3 general commercial district. Andrew, once again, anything else that you have from the city's perspective before we begin?
No, I would just note that they too are asking for the 2-year approval of the final development plan before receiving a zoning certificate. And just noting this application includes both the main Meyer retail building and the service station adjacent to Burbank Road.
Okay, thank you. Robert, I think I saw you on. Would you like to outline anything on the application, please? Is there another representative that would like to speak?
Chuck, this. Can you hear me okay? This is Chris.
Can.
Okay, great. This is Chris Jones. I'm real estate manager for Meyer, and I've been working on this project together with Tom and Nick with Menards and our development partner Redstone. And like Menards, Meyer is a private family-owned company. We've been in business 87 years, and we're on our 3rd generation family-owned company. We're the 8th largest grocery store in America. We have 250 stores, 45 of which are in Ohio. And we're very excited about this project. As Tom mentioned, he has an affinity for us. We have an affinity for Menards. We're both rooted in family values and customer service. And we really like to be involved in the communities we serve and become a fabric of that community. Our project is a prototypical project similar to Menards. It's 159,953 square feet. And it's identical to the new stores we've built in the last 5 years in Northeast Ohio. It's slightly different than Mansfield or Ontario. Some people refer to it as Ontario or Mansfield. But if you've had the opportunity in your travels around Northeast Ohio, we've opened 5 stores in the last couple of years, and we're opening 2 next Thursday, a week from today, in Seven Hills and in Boardman Township. We had the privilege of working with Menards in Brimfield Township, or Kent, Ohio, and opened our stores there on slightly different time frames. As he expressed some concerns and some uncertainty around COVID, we pushed our opening of our projects in Ohio last year. From stores were ready to go, 1,000 new team members were on board, and we were ready to open the doors in May, and then COVID hit, and we pushed the opening of those stores until July. We opened 3 super centers next week, 2 in Ohio and 1 in Indiana. That's all I have. I'd be glad to answer questions from you, Mr. Chairman, and from any of your board members as to our site plan and landscaping and stormwater and road improvements. Be glad to address any of those comments or questions, and we appreciate your support as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Commission members, any questions for Chris, please?
Chuck, if no questions, I'd like to just point out, so you'll see the improvements we're making on Smithville Western Road. You can see those kind of cross-hatched in the road right at our entrance on Smithville Western. So we're adding a right turn lane and we're adding a left turn lane into that entrance.
Okay, sure.
And then you can see a little bit better just because it's closer, the improvements we're making along Burbank Road for right in, right out at the gas station and the roundabout north of the existing roundabout. As you can see that we're donating right away to accommodate the roundabout. That right away will be donated to the city of Worcester, and we're installing all offsite improvements with private money between Redstone, us, and Menards.
Okay. Any questions for Chris, please?
Yeah, Chris, I have a similar question to what I had before. So fully employed here at this store, how many employees?
That's a great question, Kyle. And we employ about 300 new team members per store.
Okay.
And like Tom and Menards, the division between full-time and part-time employees is, for us, is a function of the labor market in the community. We like to employ as many full-time employees as possible. We may relocate a leader, that we have a leader in training, a store directors in training at other locations throughout our chain that'll view this new store as an opportunity to advance their career and become a store director. So we may relocate some leadership from other stores and other markets to this location, but our stores generally employ about, right at 300 employees. It may be 270 if we get more full-time people, but it takes about 300 people to run this store because we run it in a couple of shifts. We're also really proud. I know this is what we offer our employees to, even part-time, full-time. They're entitled to benefits and 401k, health insurance, leadership programs. There's a lot of departments where we have leaders in grocery, leaders in general merchandise, leaders in different areas of the store. But thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Any other questions, please? I have no further questions as well, so may I have a motion, please?
Chuck, I'll make a motion. This is for PC 21-17, a final development plan approval for a retail building and an automotive fuel sales station for property on the north side of West Smithville Western Road and east side of Burbank Road with parcel number 67-02990.000 in a C3 district. That motion would be with the requirements, the project shall comply with planning and zoning code requirements for accessory building location, exterior lighting, interior parking lot, landscaping, and signage, or variance shall be approved from the Board of Building and Zoning Appeals. Secondly, that the applicant shall receive approval of a zoning certificate within 2 years of the approval of this final development plan. And lastly, landscaping used for parking lot screening shall incorporate year-round screening.
Okay, thank you, Grant. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
Discussion. I guess one note I would like to make clear, it does say in the application, but just so all parties are aware of that, is that our commission does not have jurisdiction over signage. So that will be reviewed by other bodies and so forth, even though it was included in our packet. So just so that's clear. Any other debates or discussion, please? If not, we'll do the roll call. Kyle,
Vote yes.
Sheree,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have on the agenda. Andrew, do you have anything else for the good of the order?
I do not.
Okay, so we will adjourn here shortly. If we have a motion to do so, then our next meeting will be on June the 3rd. So we have a motion to adjourn, please. Sheree, did I see your hand go up?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, Kyle? Sheree, did you want to second that?
I'll second.
I thought so. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes once again. Thanks, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.